So Oppenheimer. I saw it. I saw it in a 70 millimeter showing. It was a fun experience to watch a movie like that, especially an event film, because that's essentially what it was. I thought the movie is well done, well crafted, well made, well directed, well acted. I think the biggest issue I have with the film, which is not really a big issue, is that we don't find out what the hell the actual conflict is until the end of the movie. We know that he's being investigated for something. We know he's being held under the light for something. We even know that he's being framed for something, right? Not even framed. Like he's being, yeah, you could say framed. Like, but what we don't know is that Robert Downey Jr.'s character is behind the whole. And I guess that's a good plot twist. But to me, I spent most of the 3 hour runtime saying, okay, so what's he in trouble for? Like, what did he do? That because I know it's a historical document. You don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened to Oppenheimer. I thought Albert Einstein had died in like a long time. Well,
Yo,
obviously he died a long time ago. I had no idea. In fact,
facts.
So I knew he was part of the Manhattan Project, right? But even that wasn't true because all my life I've heard, oh yeah, Albert Einstein was part of the Manhattan Project. He wasn't though. He was just there.
No parts of that shit.
He wanted no parts of it. From my understanding, it was like this is Albert Einstein. Albert regret that he assisted on the. I'm like, he's not even in this movie. So, and I had never heard about Oppenheimer before the film. Here's the thing I love the most about the movie was the cast, and not just the main cast and Cillian Murphy and gosh, I'm forgetting his name, Boston guy. Matt Damon, and all the other like actors, Florence Pugh, and like all the other actors around him. Emily Blunt. She might get a nomination for that. But it was also how all the other actors that I didn't know in the movie were utilized. Because when I saw Rami Malek show up, I was like, Rami Malek's in this? And he didn't have a big role, but his role was significant enough that it was impactful. And a lot of that happened throughout this movie. Even the guy who played Fitzsimmons in Scandal, he was in this movie. He's a really good actor. Tony Goodwin. I think
he's typecast, but yeah, he is.
He's definitely typecast as president guy. He's literally president guy. But yeah, so I enjoyed how the cast was used. I enjoyed the pace of the movie, even for 3 hours. It didn't feel like 3 hours, although in the beginning of it, I kind of had a hard time like getting settled in because people hyped it up so much. I was like, what's going to happen? And the explosion scene it paid off. It was good. I enjoyed it. But here's my thing that's not a negative. It's just how I feel about it. This ain't the greatest movie that's ever been made, which is what it's been made out to be. Not like the greatest. Yeah. This isn't like this, like even his. It's nowhere near his best movie. Not Inception. It's not later. Much later, I've learned to appreciate Interstellar a lot more than I did at first. So it's not like his really great movies. It's a good film. It's a solid flick. Do I think I'm going to watch this 3 hours again? Never. I'm never going to watch this again. That doesn't mean it's not a good movie. It's a really good movie. Really, like I said, well made, well acted, well produced, set design, conflict, well written, all that. Phenomenal. It's good. I'm never going back to it. Like it's just not going to happen. And I don't think whether or not I go back to the movie determines how good it is. However, what I will say is it means something. You know what I mean? There's 3 hour movies I will go and watch again. This wouldn't be one of them. So I think this is a phenomenal movie. And if it wins an award, fine. It's fine with me. I'm not going to like poo-poo over it unless there's something that comes out I think is just leaps and bounds better. I haven't really thought about what those would be. What I will say is Spider-Verse is better than this. That's kind of my thoughts on it. It's really good. It's just not like this mind-blowing experience that it was made out to be.
So I have to agree on the hyperbolic nature that this movie is taken on, both this and Barbie as the greatest movies ever of all time. Definitely not. Definitely not. This is my third favorite movie of the year so far. I think that is a masterclass in filmmaking, and I love the character work. I love the story. I was blown away by how good the movie was. I went in, my discourse on this film, from watching the trailers, going on the Spoiler Kings channel and talking about it, because I don't really do like discussions about
Yeah.
films on my channel. It's just like more reviews and react. Is that I'm probably gonna fall asleep. This is gonna be boring as hell. So going in with those expectations about being bored and being scared about the 3-hour runtime and not caring about the guy who made the atomic bomb, to coming out the end of it completely mind blown and like caring about what happened to Oppenheimer and everything. Kitty. Um,
Yeah. Yes, she is.
um,
Crazy.
no, adorables. Really like blew me away. I understand the whole like not understanding what he was on trial for, because it was a bit my major issue with the film was that last 45 minutes where it kind of felt a little repetitive in terms of what they were doing in terms of like that case.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, that was some of the best performances in the film.
Yeah.
Like the
I
guy that
agree.
was interrogating him it's not getting talked about enough.
I agree. Where do I know him from? Because he's
He's been
always
in
the guy
everything.
who's an ass. Yeah.
He's been in everything. What is this? Oppenheimer, that's what it's called?
I bet you he's the
Hold on.
nicest person in the world in real life, but he always plays the jerk.
1000%. Yes. Anytime you see an actor be like a real jerk, most of
Yeah.
the time they're like the nicest person in the world. That's usually
Mhm.
how it works out. And then the people who are super nice end up being jerks. Oh, Jason Clarke. Yeah. He's been
Yeah.
around for so long. He's been in so many things. He deserves a supporting actor nomination, honestly. I
I
know
agree.
Robert Downey Jr. is the front runner for
He
that,
is one.
and he's well deserved.
Snap. Yeah.
But Jason Clarke did a phenomenal job in those scenes. Really made me hate his guts.
Yeah. Agree. Also,
Um,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like the atomic bomb situation, it was like dope, but also underwhelming
Okay.
because I expected this big giant, thing, and for me, it kind of felt like a regular visually looked like a regular explosion when they just showed the actual explosion, but the sound effects that happened, like that whole like sound was gone, and then whoa, the fact that he was envisioning this bomb from the beginning of the movie, like the
Mhm.
flash showing up, and that's exactly what he saw when the bomb went off. I think all that is great, but the actual explosion itself was a little underwhelming. So I think the practicality of it was a little underwhelming, but the artistry and what it meant and everything around that was
Mhm.
blown away. So I'm conflicted on that part. But I think this movie is fantastic from beginning to end, and it shows just like the real true of US and how we treat our scientists. We tell
Yeah.
them to do these horrible things, and then we take credit, the bigger ups take credit for it, and then just push them to the side.
Was that President Truman was talking to? It was like,
I think so.
yeah, shut the fuck up, basically. Like, I don't want to
Yeah, like
hear
Gary
all your
Oldman.
stuff about. Sorry, was that Gary Oldman?
Yeah, that was Gary Oldman.
That man is a chameleon. A chameleon.
He is.
I did not know.
Yeah, that's Gary Oldman. I
What?
looked at him, I was like, wait, is that Commissioner Gordon?
That was Gary Oldman? Gary Oldman,
Yeah,
you want to
he
talk about highly rated yet feels underrated. It's
yeah.
Gary Oldman. He's the Busta Rhymes of acting, which I feel like Busta Rhymes is obviously known as one of the greatest rappers ever, just even skill wise, but he still
Mhm.
feels underrated.
No one ever
So, yeah,
brings him up. It's like when you do bring him up, it's just like, oh yeah, of course.
right. Yeah.
He's one
So,
of those.
for everybody in the live, Gary Oldman and Busta Rhymes are the same. I know you didn't come here expecting to hear that, but that it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. What was the big thing in the movie about him getting his brother to come into the camp? Because it happened, and then I didn't know what the big deal was about it. Maybe it was
Because
just
his brother was associated with the Communist
the
Party.
communists.
His
Yeah.
wife was in it, and then when him and his wife broke up, he came out of it. But they're like, well, he used to be in ties with it. Like the whole thing
Right.
was just the fact that they had ties with the Communist Party. His girlfriend was part of it, and then his brother was married to somebody that was a part of it, and then he
Mhm.
like kind of teach the views a little bit in the classes. So it was like that whole
Yeah.
surrounding thing of like, are you really with us? And they
Yeah.
really like try to frame him and make him like he was unloyal to America when he was really super loyal to America.
Even I don't want to say too loyal, but I think that's the most interesting conversation to come out of the film in my mind is how do you live with yourself knowing that the thing that you made was responsible for the deaths of I don't I don't want to just say millions out of nowhere because I'm not sure if that's the actual number, but a lot of people.
Yeah,
Two major
hundred
cities
thousands.
in Japan. Yo, craziest
Yeah.
thing in the world was the president saying, "Yeah, just don't bomb there. I really like vacationing there." what?
Bruh.
Me and my wife love going there, so just leave that spot alone.
I said out loud in the theater, bitch. And I'm by myself. I went to go see this by myself, and I was just like, and the guy next to me laughed, and I was, you like vacationing there? But those are conversations that happen right now to this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
To this day.
Like,
fighting to this day. To this day. To this day.
which is crazy to me. Yeah, I just think it was a phenomenal movie. In terms of his filmography, when you were talking about that, I haven't seen all of his stuff. I've seen Interstellar, which is my favorite movie from him. Interstellar is my favorite movie from him. I love Inception, and I've seen Dark Knight Trilogy, and I saw Tenet, which is the low end for all these movies I've seen. Right now, for me, it probably is. Right now, it's probably Interstellar and Tenet are like 1 and 2 for me, and then Inception's like right there.
Wait, I'm sorry. You like Tenet?
No. Well, I do, but it's not great.
Okay, no, that's understandable. Yeah, the thing
it's
for me
I
about
like the ambition.
Yeah, it did this thing where it was like, if you remember right at the beginning of the movie, spoilers for Tenet. I'm sorry. If you remember right at the beginning of the movie, they're like, "Hey," he's talking to, I think that's Rooney Mara, but he's talking to the scientist, and she's like, "I can't explain it to you. You just have to accept it." And I'm like, no. That's not how this works. Like, if you're going to world build and tell me that you could just go back in time and then tell me, don't worry about how it works. Like, it just works. And then essentially he's saying that to the audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, we watch superhero movies. We deal with science that is BS all the time, but they still explain it to us. I think my biggest issue with the movie is that I couldn't hear the dialogue. I don't know what niggas is saying. So how can I was literally lost at the end of the movie. Middle to end of the movie.
Fiction movie.
Yeah, he has a pretty great filmography. My rating for Oppenheimer is probably somewhere between 4 and 4.5 stars, because it is a really well-made film. It's just not, I don't know that it's not worthy of the hype. It just might not be the type of movie that gets me to get up and get out of my seat and scream into the mountaintops, right? So it's a well-made film.
The rewatchability is a big part of rating, like the fact that you don't think you'll ever watch this again is a big thing.
Yeah. And like I said, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that it's not good. It's great, but it's just, So yeah, so what was your rating be for it?
I do letter grades, and gave it an A on my channel.
Okay.
Which I guess with numbers, that's like a 9, 9.5, 10 or something like that. I don't want to give it a 10. I've only given one movie in my head a 10 since I've been doing it. My favorite movie of all time, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That is worthy of a 10. I can tell you that right now. That movie is phenomenal.
I'm glad.
That is one of the theater experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
went into it not really knowing
what
it was about. That movie's, I was so happy that it won the award because it deserved it. It's great to see when movies that deserve the win. I felt the same way about Parasite. Did you see Parasite?
I love that movie.
That movie is phenomenal. It's great. It's on another level of great. But yeah. So you give it an A. I honestly, with my friend Octavius, we actually do letter grades. I don't use stars because most people use stars. So for me, it would be a minus, just because it's well made, like I said, and well acted and well everything. But the rewatchability for me just kind of takes a little bit from it. It's better than average, much better than average.